This
And,
conference will now be
and
recorded.
after the DevOps engineers, there's a site reliability engineer that after the deployment of the product or the application, he or she will see if the product is reliable, it's working fine at the production or at the customer database or at the customer servers. Okay, he will take care of that responsibility. Later, we have understood that why we are going from on-prem architecture to the cloud. You should understand some 20 years later or before, if we have to deploy an application, we have to buy the servers, we have to rent the land, we have to buy the space, we have to put air conditioners, we have to use electricity and power to run those servers, those networking equipments. We need data cables, routers, switches, all the networking thing which will be required to make that servers up and interacting with each other. We need databases as storage units. We need certain technical experts and the security people, okay, who will take care if any server is malfunctioning or there is any security glitch in the server. So the solution to this is the cloud computing. So we are gonna rent the servers, we are going to rent the databases, we are going to rent the network, we are going to rent the maintenance, we are going to rent the monitoring, we are going to rent every aspect of the on-prem architecture from a cloud provider. That can be AWS, Azure, GCP, IBM, anyone, and we have to use it for our applications, for deploying our apps, or for deploying our softwares. So this concept, this cloud computing concept, is basically called as pay as you use or pay as you rent the services. Next, we have understood that I need a server just now. How can I do it via an AWS service? The AWS service which is responsible for it is EC2, that is Elastic Cloud Compute. And we have gone for a simple hands-on from the AWS dashboard service, and we have launched an instance and we have connected through it. So those students who have the first class today, please don't get panicked that you have not understood it. These are certain terminologies in cloud you will be messing up with now. I'm just going through what we have gone yesterday to revise it so that the students who have joined previous class, they will be comfortable and they can revise. For you, I will again go through it in a better way today so that you can get an elaborated taste of it. The next thing is, I have gone through certain basics because when we study the cloud, if asks you what is a server, what is a virtual server, what is the difference between a machine and a virtual server, or what is the difference between an instance and a virtual server and a virtual machine, you should be able to tell. What is an operating system? You should be able to tell. What is Linux? Why we are using the bash or shell scripting, which is primarily the script used in Linux operating system. Why we are not going for Windows and Mac OS when we are dealing with the cloud architecture and infrastructure. What are the different Linux distributions? Okay, and what are the advantages of Linux over any other operating system which is available in the market? Okay, next concept was virtualization. It is a very, very prime and important concept in cloud computing. To give you a brief overview for the new joinees today, you have to understand one thing, that whenever we buy an entire hardware, it will have certain HDD, CPU and RAM. Okay, let me consider that in this first box we have an hard disk of 200 GB, we have a RAM imbibed of 50 GB. Say we have an operating system, let's consider Windows on it, and that is taking, our application is taking 5 GB RAM and 50 GB HDD. you can clearly see that a lot of storage and memory has been wasted. 150 GB of hard disk and if you say, uh, 150 GB of hard disk and 45 GB of RAM has been wasted clearly in the picture. And one more drawback with this picture is, if I have an operating system of Windows, I can only install a Windows software or application on it. I can't install Mac OS application on it. For example, you take the example of your phone. If you have an Android phone, can you download or install a Mac OS application on it? No. Why? Because your mobile phone is supporting only Windows operating system. So whenever you go to App Store, in Android, we say it Play Store, you can see very clearly for any application, we can download either Android on an Android OS or on an Mac OS. There are different links for the same. Okay. If you go on an iPhone, there is a particular app store. There you can download only the softwares or applications intended for it. Okay, so you have to always remember the software or application only is supported by the underlying operating system. So we are having these two issues, that is lack or wastage of memory and RAM here. Second is confined softwares which can be taken up by the operating system. To overcome all these issues, the solution was hypervisor or virtualization. What do you mean by virtualization? So it is like a logical scissor. What does a scissor do? It is used to cut. Okay. So what does a virtualizer do, or what does a hypervisor do? It usually cuts the hardware. Not We are not cutting the hardware in a physical sense. We are cutting the hardware in a logical way. Okay, so what is happening, that this huge HDD and RAM is being logical cut by a hypervisor software. It is nothing but a binary. It is a software that can be run on this hardware of 200 GB and 50 GB RAM, and we can divide this hardware into different machines, different computers, you can say. So for the first computer, I can install Windows OS. I can give 10 GB RAM, 50 GB HDD. For the second machine, I can install Mac OS operating system with a certain RAM and HDD on the third system. I can install Linux operating system with a certain RAM and a certain HDD. With this virtualization concept, what has happened is a lot of memory has been saved, and you can out of one hardware, out of one machine, you are getting three machines. It is just an example. You can get hundreds of these virtual machines out of there. This virtualization has come up with the concept of virtual machines. So you can easily tell me the difference between a server and a virtual machine. If anyone will ask you what is the difference between a server and a virtual machine, or between a server and a virtual server, or between a server and an instance, you can easily tell the difference to them. And in this way, our virtual machines get created. So now, suppose it is an on-prem architecture, everything is, you have to buy, you have to say, you have taken a big server, you have installed a virtualization software on it, you are getting the virtual machines, but they are placed in one area, one place. Now you have to uh, take an security person, a technician to take care of them. Okay, so localized thing is again a problem here. So whenever we put these virtual machines, we connect these virtual machines to the internet, we call it as the cloud computing. So nothing, you can imagine a cloud with many virtual servers on it, and you can take those virtual servers, use them, and pay as a rental service. So different type of hypervisors are in market. One of the most popular type of hypervisors is Zen hypervisor. Then we have gone through the course review. Okay, and next we will go. Okay, these are certain plugins which I have not gone yesterday. So as we go through the class, we have to download Visual Studio for coding or scripting. The coding is not here, we call it a script. We have to install Jenkins because I want to make you understand the part of DevOps also. It we have to create CI/CD pipelines. So for that, Jenkins we have to use. I want to tell you that you can rent a virtual server from GitHub also. So GitHub as has an integration which is called as code spaces. So when we reach at a point that I will tell you how to push a directory or how to clone a directory or create a directory into the GitHub space, okay, I will tell you how to do it with the GitHub code spaces. When we will go into an area of DevOps, I will tell you about the Terraform and other IAC tools which are being used. When we are going through the CLI, that is command line interface of the AWS, that is from the scripting, we can create or use any server or resource. That time we can go up to AWS CLI, and Git bash is very, very important. I think everyone should have Git installed in their personal laptops or computers. So no worries about all this. I will tell you each and everything one by one, step by step to go through. So this is how to have an AWS UI or dashboard. So now I am taking on to our today's thing, which is very interesting. So let me go back to you guys. So how many of you have the AWS UI with them? Because yesterday I told you how you can like register yourself as a root user for AWS. So has anyone tried to do? Vijay, have you done it? Have you followed the steps yesterday? Is your AWS console ready?
No, not yet ready. I have tried it.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Any particular issues you faced?
Uh, for the EC2 instance, like I have a login, but I don't the payment type I get an error. So
So there is no payment issue there.
like
You
free.
can just add
Yeah.
your credit card,
Okay.
your CVV. It will just deduct 1 rupees. Don't get frightened that it is asking for the payment details. It is a secure site of AWS. It will deduct only 1 rupees for your authentication, or two
Okay, let
rupees.
me try today. I'll check it out. Okay.
Yeah, why I'm telling to you guys is because if you try it, if you have your AWS UI ready, AWS dashboard ready, so you can practice simultaneously with me, and that will be very great. Anyways, you can try today, all of you, and let me know. I will tell the process once again.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. So let's come to the cloud deployment models. So let us start with today's thing. 1 minute. Okay. Okay. So what are the different cloud deployment models? Okay. So depending upon the need of the user, okay, depending upon the need of the customer, how we want to deploy the cloud infrastructure, it has been classified into three types. One is public, second is private, and third is hybrid. So from the name, you can have an understanding like what should be the public. Public means it is open to everybody. Okay. So whatever cloud deployment platform you are using, any client, any customer, all across the world, all across the globe can access it. Okay. So I have certain examples. Even you can give me examples of the public cloud. AWS, which we are studying right now, Microsoft's Azure, Google's GCP are the best examples, okay, of public cloud deployment models. Why I'm saying it? You go to AWS, you do the sign up, you can create an account, you can use the AWS services. You can go to Microsoft Azure portal, you can create your account, use your email ID, phone number, you can generate the token, you can start. Similarly in the GCP also, it doesn't restrict anybody to use the cloud platform services, whatever services it has, whether they are compute service, whether they are storage services, whether they are database services, whether they are AI services, whether they are any type of service, serverless services, okay, deployment services, security services, you are free. Any user all around the globe is free to use that. Now, what is private cloud? So, private cloud is that only the people belonging to a certain organization can use it. Okay, I will give you a very good example. So only the people from a particular organization can use it. So say I am in HPE. Okay, HPE is a cloud of HP computers. Okay, the same company has a cloud that is HPE. Or I can take the example of VMware. Okay, they have their private clouds, which the people only from their organization can use. Or IBM. Okay, you can do one thing, you can go to LinkedIn, you can use the IBM AWS cloud positions. Now they have started collaborating with AWS cloud engineer positions to take care of AWS cloud, but IBM has their own proprietary private cloud intact in their organization which they use. If you talk about HPE company, they also uses their own cloud which is called as private cloud. So why is it intended for? It is intended for the private and the secured information within the organization. Okay, and when we talk about public cloud, it is about cost effectiveness and scalability. Now what are these terms? Cost in case of public cloud, if I talk about cost effectiveness, you can easily understand. Like us, there will be so many users using the AWS free tier platform, or they are using the business platform or the enterprise platform. How much the AWS will be earning from this? Because AWS is a public cloud, Azure is a public cloud, GCP is a public cloud. So many organizations, even healthcare companies, you take the example of Novartis, you take the example of Lilly, you take the example of Amgen, all are migrating to the cloud. Okay, if you go to their portal, you can see AWS cloud platform engineer, solution architect vacancies and jobs. How is it possible? It means healthcare companies are also making use of these public models. And what is scalability? Suppose today in my organization, I am deploying everything on AWS. Suppose I have a startup, its size is 100 people. Okay. Tomorrow it will be 1,000 people. I can use today 100 instances. Tomorrow I can use 1,000 instances. It is easily elastic. It's easily scalable. Okay, that are the advantages of public cloud. If you talk about private cloud, I told you for all the private and the secret information that should be inside the organization or the way the organization is operating, okay, they will go for the private one. If I talk about the hybrid cloud, hybrid itself means the mixture of public and private. So what is the example I can give you? There is a best service in AWS we called as AWS Connect. So what it does is, if I want to migrate or connect from my on-prem to my AWS data center, I use this service called as AWS Connect. For example, I have recently migrated or moved from on-prem to AWS cloud. Suppose I have my total I have 100 services on on-prem. On-prem means, I told you, on-prem means everything you have in your custody. You have your own servers, your own database, own security, own networking, everything. Okay, that is called as on-prem. Okay, so 100 services are on-prem. Suppose you migrated 90 you migrated or deployed to AWS cloud. Okay, so 10 are remaining, right? So what will happen to those 10 services? A part of the services are being migrated, a part is left. So for those 10 left out services, you may or you want to connect them from the on-prem data center to your AWS data center. So isn't it a combination of both public and private? Private is your on-prem, public is your AWS. Another good example of the hybrid cloud which we use is NetApp. Okay, and there are so many. If you go to Google, you can see so many types of public, private, and uh, hybrid cloud. So what is the advantage of hybrid cloud? Obviously, it will give you the scalability, and it will give you an option to keep some of your services private. For example, some services in my company, I want to keep it private. I don't want it to be accessible to other users. In that case, I will go for hybrid cloud. The normal or the public things, public services which anybody around the world can see. For example, I work in an XYZ company, say IT company. Many things, if you open their company website, you can see very clearly there. For example, you can see the HR policies. Okay, you can see the basic rules and regulations they are following, or the recent news what is going on in India and other states where they are in, where their headquarters are in. But the very sensitive information like referrals, okay, or the internal job postings, can you see? No, you can't see. So how they have differentiated? Similarly, in any organization, we can use a hybrid cloud concept where we can put some things public and some things very secured, very private. Okay, so the interviewer can ask you, what are the advantages? What are the different cloud deployment models? Kindly state the advantage of each. And in your company, which you will prefer to use if you go inside a company, which you think that should be used. Okay. So next, let's move to our next topic. So I have covered this one. You can go through. I will share the PPT. Next is cloud service models. This is a very interesting and uh, a very much asked interview question when we go to AWS consultant role. Okay, so let me explain this to you all. So AWS service models are of three types. One is IaaS, next is PaaS, next is SaaS. Okay, so first one we call as infrastructure as a service. Next one we call as platform as a service. And next we called as software as a service. So if we go to one by one, so what about IaaS? Infrastructure as a service means I am using from the cloud provider, I am taking infrastructure to rent as a service. Okay, if I say you, what about the Mintra? Say there's an app, Mintra app. You buy uh, the uh, the dress styles or everything, clothes, everything from it. Okay, it is a platform where you are buying the clothes. Okay, similarly, you can say it is a platform as a service to buy the clothes. There are some platforms where you can rent different things. For example, you rent furniture. Okay, so you can say that as an IaaS. Okay, I am renting something as a service. Here in IaaS, I am renting the whole infrastructure as a service. Okay, I will give you an example from the diagram. On site, if you see the first block on site, don't get panicked by these colors and so many things which I have written. So you can see very clearly that all the things which are being mentioned, whether it is networking, storage, servers, virtualization, hypervisors, operating system, middleware, runtime, data, and applications, will be handled by us. This is an on-site. On-site means on-prem. Can I say on-site is on-prem? I am managing the servers. You can see this blue one is you manage, means the user manages, we manage. Okay, we are managing the servers, we are managing RAM HDD, we are managing the networking cables, plugins, switches, routers, LAN cables, everything. We are taking care of virtualization software to be installed on a hardware to get the virtual machines. We are installing operating system over it. We are taking care of the platform, say whatever runtime it takes for an application. Then we are taking care of the databases. We are taking care of the software code application. So it is nothing but as the on-site or the on-prem. Now I am moving to IaaS. If I talk about IaaS, you can see the blue ones are managed by us. The red ones are managed by the service providers. So infrastructure, I am asking the cloud provider to take care. So what is coming inside the infrastructure? All the red parts. Infrastructure is service, okay, AWS you take care. Storage, RAM, HDD, AWS you take care. Networking, VPC, subnet, router, cable, AWS you take care. Virtualization, Zen hypervisor, you put any other hypervisor, your headache, AWS you take care. What I have to take care as a user, I have to take care of the operating system. I have to see which operating system I want to install on this hardware. Okay, whether I want to install Windows, Mac OS, Ubuntu, Linux, or any other distribution that is available. Then I have to take care of the middleware, runtime, any database. If I want to add a database instance, I will take care of it. If I have to run a code, I have to take care of it. I have to write a code. I have to run it on that container, or I have to run it on that virtual machine. And that the blue things are the headache of the user. So what IaaS means, I am requesting AWS, give me the infra. I will take care, and you take care of the infrastructure part. I will take care of the operating system middleware data part. Okay? So the best example which we state for IaaS is EC2. Yesterday, those who have gone through the demo, they know that EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, is an AWS service that helps us to rent virtual machines. So I will do a quick demo today also to make you understand how we can rent a virtual machine from AWS EC2. There we can see clearly that we are deciding the operating system. We are renting the operating system for AWS. We are renting the CPU from AWS. We are renting the HDD RAM, okay, the storage, the boot volume from the AWS. And what we have to do, our all infrastructure is ready. Just we have to install the application. Today I will install the application and show you how it works, how you can see it from the outside world. Okay, so EC2 is an example of IaaS. Next is PaaS. What does PaaS do? Let's go again to the diagram. Red things are managed by the cloud provider. Cloud provider will take care of servers, cloud provider will take care of storage, networking, virtualization, operating system, runtime, everything. Now in platform as a service, I don't have to think of operating system as well. I don't want to install operating system and other packages also with it. This runtime middleware is nothing but the extra packages that we install along with the operating system. Now I don't have to take care of binaries also. No package headache is taken up by me, by the user. This will all be done by the AWS cloud. Only you have to do two things. You have to take care of databases and you have to take care of your code. You have to run your application or software. The best example of PaaS is Elastic Beanstalk. It is an AWS service. Don't get panicked. Okay, I will show you quickly, 1 minute, how it looks like. So you have to just put your hardware, okay, and you have to just write your code and you are good to go. Like I will show you quickly. So Elastic Beanstalk is nothing but an AWS service which helps us to run and manage web apps. So if I open this, okay, you can click on create application. As we have understood from the diagram that our headache is only to deploy the application, only the data which we need inside the service and the application. So if I go back here, you can see that it is defining that whether I want to run the application on a master or whether I want to run the application on a worker. This is all the infra. You don't have to think about it. This AWS will take care, the cloud provider will take care. You have to write your application name, say Python, any application, okay? You have to give some environment name to it, okay? Some environment description, whether you want to run it, where you want to run it, some name. You can see now it is asking for platform. You want to run your application on Docker container, you want to run your application on .NET Core on Linux, you want to run a Node.js application, Java application, Python, Ruby, whatever application, you have to just select and run it. That's it. It is giving the entire environment to you. That's why I have put the example of PaaS as Elastic Beanstalk. Now next is SaaS. SaaS is software as a service. Let's go back to this diagram. Now you have to tell me what it indicates. Everything is red. Everything is managed by the cloud provider, by the service provider. User has no headache of server. User has no headache of virtualization, no headache of OS, no headache of networking, no headache of even the application to deploy as well. We have some very good examples of it. Okay, for example, we use network. Amazon has a beautiful service called Chime for communication. Okay, Netflix is the best example. Okay, you have got the entire. Do you do anything while seeing any web series or anything on Netflix? No, it is the whole package. At the back end, this Netflix has S3 AWS storage deployed on it. Okay, all the data which you see on the Netflix is basically stored in an AWS service. We call that as S3 service. I will traverse you through that so that you can't understand now exact things, okay, but you can have a clear picture that how beautiful the cloud is, okay, and how much beautiful benefits it has given to the whole technology and the community. So S3 is like a storage in the cloud, okay. So everything I want to store movies, I want to store any data, okay, any archive data. So Netflix uses this service of AWS to traverse all the data, to store all the data which you see on Netflix on demand, okay. So you should know this. So where I was is, Netflix is an example of SaaS. Google Drive. Google has an application we call as Google Drive. You know it. We used to store files, folders, documents, pictures, photos, videos on it. What you have to do? Just have to sign in and use, right? So these are the services where the user has to do nothing. Everything on the back end will be managed by the service provider or the cloud provider. Next thing, very, very important thing and very interesting thing is region and availability zone. Okay. So next thing is region and availability zone. So I want to show you some pictures as well before we proceed. So I'll show. First, I want to show you on-prem. So when I don't know if it can, yeah, when I was working with Samsung as a client, so if you go to their to their server division, you can see all these 4G, 5G servers over there. This is nothing but an on-prem structure. They have rented this whole room. They have not rented. They have this whole room, and they have deployed all Vodafone servers or different Airtel servers over there for the telecom communication. Okay, so you can just imagine this room as hundreds of room with all these different virtual machines or servers installed. This is nothing but an on-prem architecture. Now, if I show you in Hyderabad, where I am in, I will show you here data center, how AWS data center is here, how it looks like. So there is a huge land. You can't think, okay, you really can't think of how huge it is. It has spanned acres and acres of land, and there you can see all these virtual servers installed over a huge space. You can see different pictures. It's not okay. You can see different pictures of it of AWS data center spanned over different areas of the world. One of the data center is in Hyderabad, and one of the data center is in Mumbai in India. So you can see how beautiful it is. If you can visit, you can see they don't allow any outsider to go inside because of the security reasons. But if you see the pictures on the internet, you will be even mesmerized to see. And if you go inside, okay, you can please go to this video and check. uh, this will be so beautiful to see how many servers they are taking care, and how does their data center actually looks like. It is unbelievable actually if you see. Okay, so you can go through any YouTube video of AWS data center and you can have a look over it. So you can see this drone video also. You can have an idea how much area it has spanned. Okay, so now coming back to the regions. So region is basically a graphical region. Okay, where so it is basically a graphical area where the cloud provider has put their servers or installed their servers. Okay, So every region must have three availability zones or more even. Okay. So if I come back to this, so you can see these are specific geographical areas where AW has certain data centers. So region can be India. Okay. You can consider like India is a region, and then India has two AZs. AZs means availability zones, two data centers. Okay, so it has, as I told, it has in Mumbai and Hyderabad, and many more are coming up, I think, in the near future. So a region is a geographical area where the cloud provider has set up all their servers, and each region may have three or more availability zones. So we have an example of regions as US East Virginia, Mumbai, I mean India, not Mumbai, India, Tokyo, etc. So if you go to here, you can see, you can click on this, okay, and you can see different regions over here. So in US, we have North Virginia, Ohio, okay, North California, Oregon. In Asia Pacific, you have all this. So you can see and scroll down that how much, okay, 16 regions are enabled for my account, okay, because it is a free tier account. Maybe if it's a business account or an enterprise account, depending upon your customer, say your customer is in Tokyo, okay, you will use the region as the Tokyo that time. So maybe you have a number of services out there. Okay. So depending upon the region, for example, I have selected now North Virginia. Okay. So it is showing me 16 regions I have available. I can work with 16 I have 16 regions that are not enabled for me. Maybe for some others, some other things will be there. Okay. So it depends. See, my region now got changed to South America, so you can change it anytime, and you can come back to the place. Okay, where you want to do, you can do. But yes, when we are working in an organization, we can't change regions like that. When we are doing it for the demo purposes, yes, we can do it. But suppose your customer is located in Tokyo, you have to take the region to Tokyo. If your customer is in US, you have to take the region as US, because it will be easy for the customer to assess. There will be less latency. There will be less region in which your customer is. So what are the advantages? Means why AWS is doing this headache of dividing the whole world into regions? Some 113 regions are total with AWS. Okay, some 14 or 13 availability zones are there. So why is the headache with this? Okay, the reason is they need high availability. So what do you mean by the high availability? Why this region and data center concept is there? So suppose, as I said, say I have three AZs, availability zones in one region. Okay. Say what will happen? I am working in region US East 1, that is North Virginia. Okay. So it has three availability zones. It has US East 1A. This is one availability zone. US East 1B, another availability zone. US East 1C, another availability zone. Okay. This is, I'm not giving you an example, it is actually there. Okay, so the region name is US East 1, which stands for North Virginia. I will show you here, you can see it very clearly. US East 1 is the code for North Virginia. It has three availability zones, US East 1A, 1B, and 1C. Suppose I have installed a server in US East 1A. Suppose it fails over or there is a glitch, then what we can do? All these AZs are connected through AWS internal network or internal VPC. If this server fails, you can move this server to 1B or 1C, whichever is the healthy availability zone. Okay, or you can transfer the data from this server to any other availability zone, or you can deploy this server over any other availability zone. Okay, or if the region only has some issue, okay, any networking issue or something, you can take the appropriate step. So this helps in high availability and the disaster recovery, anything, whether the region has the networking issue, server has the glitch, anything can happen, right? In that area, in that data center in US East 1A availability zone, say there is a network glitch inside, all the servers are not working, so you have to move from one AZ to another AZ. You have to move your server from one AZ to another AZ. You can take a new server in 1B or 1C. So these regions or availability zone concept are primarily for fault tolerance, high availability, disaster recovery, and low latency. Low latency means low, I mean, latency is the speed lag, you can say. Okay, so low latency means, for example, as I told you, my client is in Tokyo, so I will try that all my services, all my servers, everything should be in the Tokyo region. Why? Because obviously, if I keep some other region, okay, say I will keep India, so it will take some time for the data to traverse. Nowadays we have the CDN network, that is content delivery network, available at the edge locations, that will help to transfer data at a faster rate. But since we can't deny the fact that data packets while routing, they take certain time to traverse from one point to another. Okay, if the distance is more, they will take more time. So in order to overcome that data delay or the transmission delay, okay, latency is nothing but the transmission delay, the time which takes for the data packets to move from one place to another, is nothing but the latency. So low latency corresponds to, if we have the services in the same region in which the customer is lying, or which is near to our clients, or where our deployment is, should be there or is done. Okay, so okay, after covering all this, I request all of you, because see, theory is an important part, I should not deny this, uh, but the most important part for anything is the demo. I really back up for the demos. I back up for the interview questions that they will ask you for the role. I will definitely tell you while covering each topic that these are the interview questions you should know. But more than that, if you don't have the hands on the things, it will be difficult for you to survive in the IT. Okay, so let me go back. So sorry, I will go. Okay, so AWS console page will look like this. I will open this again for you guys because yesterday many students were not there. You have to do AWS management console. If you put AWS manage also, it will come. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so you have to open this page, the first link. So here you have to click this create account, which is the first snapshot I have taken. Create an AWS account. It will give something like this: sign up for AWS. Like you create your Gmail account. Similarly, like this, you put any email address which you are using, because it will send an OTP on it. Okay, you give any name. For example, if you see my account name is Vansha. Okay, you can put any name which you want to give, your own name, your any pet name. Okay, anything you can put. Okay, so this name will reflect here. Okay, then you have to click on verify email. Once your email is verified, you will move to the next step. It will give a verification code on the email address which you have given, the 6-digit number. You put the verification code. Once the verification code is verified, it will ask you, you create a password. So you can create a password and you can confirm. You can put the same password again and you can move to the next step. You can press on continue. It will take up you to the payment one. Now here you have to be very thoughtful. You should not go for business. You should go for personal, because if you go for business, they will not take free tier, because in our organization we don't go for personal things, we use a business account. So that will be difficult for you. For the schools, workplaces, organizations, we use business. For our own demos we use personal. So click on personal for your own projects. You can put your own name. Your India is +91, or if you're from another country, put that code, put your phone number, put your country or region, and then you can move to, then it will ask your address. You can put your city, whatever, Bangalore, Delhi, Hyderabad, wherever. State you can put. Then next is the billing information. You have to put your credit or debit card number. You have to put the expiration date, month and year, and you have to put the CVV code at the end. Don't save it into the browser. First thing, AWS uses a secure site, so it will not, your CVV and credit card number won't get leaked. It will debit 2 rupees, I think, from the account. And just to confirm that it is an authenticated credit card or a debit card, okay? And then at the end, after it is debited, you have to select the basic support model, not a business model or something. Very basic account, free to your account, and your AWS dashboard will be live after this in 24 to 48 hours. Okay, so kindly do this step. And actually I wanted to show you this small demo. It will be a little quick. Don't get panicked or don't think, "Oh, what is it," or all. What I am going to do, using AWS EC2 service, I'm going to launch an instance. I'm going to set up a virtual machine, and I want to install an Apache web server on it. You can install any web server which you like, and I want to show you the web page from the web browser. So it's a very quick demo which we'll go for today, because without demo I feel the class is incomplete. Okay, so please open the EC2 service. You click on launch an instance. You can put any name, say my web server I have used. You can put any name. I will go for the Ubuntu server. You can go for any of the servers in the Linux distributions. Okay. So yes, so instance type, I will select T2 micro. Don't get panicked, because when we take Elastic Compute Service, we will go for each and everything. When we take up this service, I am just showing you, I'm just showing this demo to you. Yesterday also I have shown one demo so that you can appreciate. Yesterday we have launched an EC2 instance and I have connected that virtual server from my laptop. And today I want to show you the web application, the web page. Okay, so I want you to appreciate the beauty of it, not to go deep into the concepts now. Because anyway, when we are going to take this service, I'm going to explain one by one part of it. So let me take this August key. It is downloaded in my basically laptop. Yesterday I've downloaded it. So allow SSH, okay, and apart from that you have to allow HTTPS and HTTP traffic as well, because you are going to see the web page. You are going to launch a web server. Let's configure the storage as 8 only, and I am going to launch the instance. Don't think anything now. Just see it and see from this server EC2. I'm getting a virtual machine. I'm not doing virtualization. I'm not paying anything to the AWS. I want an I want a web server to get launched. That's it. Now it is in pending state. Let us wait to be it in running state. Okay. Now the AWS might have started their server. It is already virtualized there. They have done the virtualization already. So that virtual machine is now getting up. It is getting rebooted, started, and you can see it is in running state. So one way, yesterday I have shown you that we have connected it through the laptop. So today I will connect it through the AWS interface UI. So we will connect it using a public IP. Don't think anything. We are just connecting to that machine. We have taken a machine on rent from AWS. That is a virtual machine. One CPU and one RAM it has, and I want to connect to it sitting at my home on my laptop. That's it. Can you see the beauty? You can see this is the this is the private IP of the web server. This is the name of my server, and we are connected to it. Isn't it beautiful? From my AWS UI interface on my laptop, I am able to connect to the EC2 instance, which is there in North Virginia. I am in India, Hyderabad. Isn't it beautiful? I can connect it through my command prompt also. Yesterday I've shown the demo. You can go through the yesterday's demo and see how beautiful it is. Now what I am going to do is I am going to use certain Linux commands here. First I am using sudo su minus. See, don't again I will tell, don't get panicked. I will tell you the Linux commands one by one. What I am doing is just I am switching the user to root. I'm becoming a root user. Okay, give me all the permissions. Why I want all the permissions? Because I want to install web server. So I want to become the root user. And hence I have used sudo su minus, sudo su dash. Okay. Now there is a command apt update minus -y. Now I am updating the package. I'm just updating the application. Okay. So it started updating. The app is used for Ubuntu servers, and it started updating its binaries or packages, whatever it has. So you can see all the dependencies have been, or packages have been downloaded. Some 109 packages have been upgraded. Okay, this is just an upgrade command which I have used before. So apt, just we do refresh on Windows, right? I have refreshed it. Then now I will install, okay, Apache 2. Apache 2 is nothing but a web application. This is the command for it. Apt install Apache 2 minus -y. Not minus, it's hyphen. Now you can see all the packages related to the web server Apache 2 is getting installed on the machine. On your virtual server. It's not on my, what you say, on my laptop. It is all happening on the virtual machine screen. You can see everything is up to date. Okay, now how to assess this web application? The formula is copy the private IP of the instance which you have created, colon 80. 80 is the port. 80 is the port number for HTTP server. For any web application server, the port number is 80. Okay, so public IP of your virtual machine, which is there in North Virginia, colon 80. And you can see the web page landing. You can see here. The Apache 2 default web page has been landed. You can do one more thing. You can do HTTP, okay, colon, hyphen, the IP address is to port number and slash. You can see the web page has been landing. So isn't it beautiful? The virtual server is in North Virginia. You are sitting in India from your laptop. You are connecting to it. You are installing the packages, you are installing the web server on it, you are landing a web page on your laptop. Okay, this is the beauty of the cloud, guys. Okay, so there are many such things which you can learn. I mean, cloud is entirely beautiful. The services it provides, whether it is for machine learning or anything, or it is for the normal deployment services which we use in the IT industry, or the DevOps services, I mean, it's vibrant and very much appreciable. Once you do it, you really feel that how AWS has revised its services and how we can make use of them without having an extra cost. So it's extremely beautiful. You can delete because you have to terminate it every time you use it. Otherwise, unnecessarily, they will charge you. So you have to shut down your computer. So you can see the state is shutting down. You have to go to instance state and terminate. Terminate or delete. If you stop, still you will be charged. If you force terminate, then fine. Better is to terminate because now they have come up with the option of OS shutdown also. So better to go for terminate rather than force terminate. Okay. So this was the session. So any doubts, or let me stop the recording.